Welcome back, everybody. Today's video is going to be a little bit different than what we normally talk about. So to that end, if you're somebody who's subscribed to the channel just for dedicated gun and gear reviews or tutorials or things like that, feel free to click off the video. We're going to talk about some First and Second Amendment issues here today because I think they're important, and I wasn't sure if I was going to make this video at all. However, the events that have transpired in my channel over the last 48 hours have kind of compelled me to make this video. So first and foremost, the First and Second Amendment, why do they matter? Well, they're tied together, right? So the Second Amendment probably wouldn't exist in this country without the First Amendment, and vice versa. So a quick analysis, or a quick example rather, of that this audience would understand is back during the President Obama administration, he directed the ATF to ban armor penetrating or armor piercing rounds that could be fired from pistols, such as like an AR pistol, for example. So the ATF did some surveys, put out some feelers about banning M855, which is commonly used in AR-15s, as well as 7.6, which is commonly used in AK-74s. Well, the American people spoke up, used their First Amendment rights. Folks like myself spoke up. We made videos on this, again, using our First Amendment rights. And because people were so outraged by the potential ban on 855, the ATF did not ban it. However, because no one really spoke up, because AK-74s aren't really all that popular in America, they banned 7.6. So your Second Amendment right to train with cheap ammo was directly affected by the First Amendment right and exercise of it by the American people. So there's a ton of examples of that. That's just a quick one for this channel that you guys would get. I apologize if the wind is bad out here today, but we're rolling with it. So back on March 12th, I made a video because people were asking about it, about the coronavirus and what I thought about it. It was actually relative to in relation to the NRA show shutting down, but I said in that video that from what I knew then, and again, I'm not an epidemiologist, I'm not a doctor, I don't play one on YouTube, is that I believe that more people would be bankrupted by the virus than would be killed by it. So to that end, today, as of when I just looked it up, there was 33 million people who have filed for unemployment. Again, as of today, that could change anytime. Today is April 23rd, and 48,000 people had died, according to the coronavirus statistics that are out there today. There's some wiggle room in those stats and how they're being collected, but I'm not going to get into that. It's not the point of today's video at all. But the goal overall back then by the medical experts and everybody, policymakers, was to flatten the curve, right? And it's not so much that people weren't going to get infected, at least this is my understanding. They just didn't want the hospitals to be overwhelmed by a dramatic spike in it. And outside of New York City, to the best of my knowledge, we haven't seen that. So there is that. Additionally, Facebook and YouTube have put out updated policies regarding this. Again, First Amendment type things. I realize they're private companies, but I guess that's a video for another day too. And Facebook said that any organization that was set up to protest these stay-at-home orders and the quarantines and stuff like that were misinformation and would be blocked and deleted from the app. So there's that. Then YouTube put out the CEO of YouTube put out just a couple days ago that anything stated on YouTube that goes against the WHO's guidelines would be considered not in line with their partner agreement, deleted, removed, etc. So those two things, you know, are not exactly in line with the First Amendment. So that's troubling to say the least. On that note, my Facebook page did get taken down for folks that don't know, at least as of right now, because I posted a live video from a rally, which was dedicated to reopen the economy. And it got taken down. Right now, it might go back up. We don't know. It might be gone forever. It is what it is, but that is what spurred me to make this video. I was, again, on the fence about making it at all, but at this point, I think we have to do it because people like myself are being targeted, and I'm not the only one. And of course, there are, like we said here, 33 million. That's not counting everybody. There's a lot more people that are having a hard time putting the food on the table right now in America. And by no means am I saying that that we should not take protective steps against coronavirus at all. It's not at all what I'm saying. I think it's real. It's serious. It needs to be treated seriously. However, on the other side, the removal of Second Amendment rights that has happened, as well as the people who are unable to run their business or work or put food on the table for their children, is also very real. So there is that. So regarding the Second Amendment, It's just some examples. These are off the top of my head that I remember. I didn't even do any research because I see this stuff all the time. And if you guys used to follow me on Facebook, hopefully you guys still do if it's there. I post a lot of civil rights information there because civil rights and the Second Amendment, once again, are tied together. So basically, just a few just off the top of my head. Right now in Washington, D.C., the only FFL that's allowed in D.C. right now to operate is the police. Let that sink in, because of a virus. Additionally, many states, not just California, but California is the biggest one, of course, have moved to 30-day waiting periods to pick up a firearm. Some of them have had 10 in the past, but now the real world, with the NICS checks being what they are, they're saying 30 is the standard now. Gun shops across the country, depending on states, have been considered non-essential businesses. And once again, do we have a Second Amendment if you can't purchase a firearm, right? Additionally, ranges are shut, so people are having a hard time training and getting experience with their firearms. In New Jersey, they basically just said the state police are the only ones allowed to do NICS checks, and then they directed the state police not to do NICS checks. And NICS checks, for folks who don't know, are the background checks that go with purchasing a firearm. So people in New Jersey who want to buy a firearm in order to protect themselves were prevented from doing so without any sort of judicial ruling, without any sort of bill being passed, simply a governor who specifically admitted that he did not consult the Constitution before making his rule.
By what authority did you nullify the Bill of Rights in issuing this order? How do you have the power to do that?
That's above my pay grade, Tucker. So I wasn't thinking of the Bill of Rights when we did this.
Let that sink in. Additionally, many states, North Carolina being one of them, they have what are called pistol purchase permits, and counties across the state basically shut down that program. And without that permit, if you don't have a concealed carry permit, you can't purchase a firearm. The same has happened in states that have FOID cards, I believe they're called. Again, practically speaking, making it impossible for Americans to purchase firearms because of a virus. In Illinois, there was a mayor, I believe in Champaign, that specifically by fiat and decree said that all gun sales were suspended with, again, no vote, no laws, no nothing. So all of these are gigantic infringements upon the Second Amendment, and that really was going to be the focus of this video. However, I want to roll in next just to interview some real world, real people in their experiences that I saw when I was out at the rally in North Carolina. Just to let you guys know that, again, all of these deaths are tragic. They absolutely are. And I don't want to see another one. If we could stop them all, I would say that's great, but it seems that we can't. And one thing we can do is allow people to go to work. We can allow people to exercise their Second Amendment rights. We can allow people to exercise their First Amendment rights. And right now, that doesn't seem to be the case really across the board. I've gotten a lot of hate mail as well. People saying that they wish I died drowning in my own mucus in my lungs. That's great. Again, I'm not advocating not taking this seriously. It's not what I'm doing, but there has to be civil liberties regardless of a pandemic or anything like that. So again, we're gonna roll in some footage here of some real people and what's happened to them and their ability to live their lives as they see fit during this pandemic. And that's it. That should close the video out, guys. Again, I don't plan on doing a ton of videos like this, but I think this is a special circumstances where people are being muzzled. And again, my Facebook page has been removed because of just even discussing the topic. So that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Now, check out what these folks have to say.
My name is Sona. I'm out here because I want NC to be open.
Okay. How has the shutdown impacted you?
The most significant impact for me is the fact that we are being kept from our right to worship. We are Christians. We know it's a God-given right and God-given responsibility and duty unto every Christian to worship.
Absolutely, it's your constitutional right to be able to do so.
Yeah.
So you're out here just trying to get that back with the ability to go and worship as you please.
Yes, well, as the Bible dictates and as the nation has constitutions, So we should be living within those constitutional rights and responsibilities. The governor does not have the right to take those constitutional rights and responsibilities and duties away from us or force us to dishonor God and disobey God. That's what's happening right now.
Awesome. Anything else you want to say?
I want to say that to the people of this nation, read the Constitution.
Great.
This nation should be governed by a constitution, not by the whims and the judgments of men who decide that because they're fearful of this or that they can change the law or make a new law without due process.
My name's Claire,
Okay.
and I'm a hairstylist. The salon I work at, we're very, very busy. We have a huge clientele. It's taken a big toll. I'm used to being at work for 8 hours a day and working really hard. I also struggle with depression. It's been hard to stay positive, being at home a lot. I've been trying to do a lot of activities outside and do as much like on Instagram as possible.
Sure.
Lots of hair videos and things like that to kind of help people feel like they can do things at home.
Awesome.
Yeah, my husband's been a great support system, but yeah, it's been really hard. I'm used to, I'm a workaholic. This is the longest I've been out of work for, I can't remember how long.
Sure.
So, yeah.
So, has it been an issue to pay bills or anything at this point? Or are you still financially solvent with your
Well,
husband?
we do thankfully have savings, so that's definitely helped. But yeah, it's I'm not getting the unemployment that I was promised. I didn't get until about a month afterwards,
Okay.
and it's not enough to cover everything. It's not 50% of what I was making before. So
Sorry to hear that.
okay.
Anything else you want to tell people out there watching? Perhaps people who think that we should just continue a forced government shutdown?
I'd say stand up for yourself. I was feeling really alone, and like nobody else felt the same way about me until I started doing some research and digging, and found some YouTube channels, found Reopen North Carolina. But I'd say, stand up for your rights. This is America. This is a communist country.
I am a small business that work out of my home. I do custom picture framing.
Okay.
And right now, none of my distributors are open, so I can't get any supplies delivered to me. They deliver to me by truck.
Okay.
So essentially, I'm completely shut down. My husband and I were a two-income family. His hours have been cut. His pay has been cut 33%. So we are down to his income. The mortgages are coming due, or our mortgage is coming due, car payments, bills from my business, insurance, and without the two incomes, there's just no way to keep those things open.
Right.
The big problem with it is the fact that I don't qualify for the small business loan because it's just me that works.
Right.
I don't qualify for unemployment. So at this point, I have no money coming in. I have nothing to contribute towards anything. We have already shut down our DirecTV. We have shut down our home phone line. I shut down my security system in my house. We're cutting out everything we can just to scrape by. Putting food on the table is getting hard. It's one of those things that we have to open up. I have got to start bringing some money in because I have no idea how long his income is going to be affected. And we're at the point where we don't even know how long his job is going to hold out. So from the time people have applied for unemployment, we're hearing horror stories of 3 weeks to a month, 6 weeks. So it's just one of those things, we've got to get this economy back up and going. It's, as a small business owner, I have the ability to follow the guidelines, protect myself, because if my health isn't good, I can't run a business. I have the ability to protect my customers because if they're not healthy, I have no customers.
Sure.
But it's not up to the government to decide whether I can earn a living.
Right.
And customers make the decision whether they feel comfortable coming out of their houses or not. But I need to work, and I should be the one to decide.
Agreed. If you want, do you want to name your business?
Yes, Karen's Custom Frames.
Awesome.
Thank you.